You're in the shower and you look down at the drain. There's more hair than usual. Or maybe you're blow drying and you catch your reflection, and something looks different, thinner, less full than it used to be. If that sounds familiar, you're not imagining it. And you're definitely not alone. Hair thinning after 40 affects the majority of both men and women worldwide. But most people have no idea what's actually causing it. They blame stress, or shampoo, or genetics, and they leave it at that. In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your body that's changing your hair, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Stay to the end, because I'm covering 2 causes that almost no one talks about. And once you know them, you'll understand why the usual advice hasn't been working. The biology of hair after 40. Before we get into the causes, let's understand what healthy hair growth actually looks like, and why age disrupts it. Every single hair on your head goes through a growth cycle with 3 phases. The anagen phase, active growth, can last 2 to 7 years. The catagen phase is a short transitional period, and the telogen phase is the resting and shedding phase, which normally lasts a few months. In your 20s and 30s, most of your hair follicles spend the majority of their time in the anagen phase, actively growing. After 40, this starts to shift. Follicles spend more time resting and less time growing. The growth cycles shorten, hair grows more slowly, and each new strand that grows back tends to be finer and thinner than the one before it. This isn't a disease, it's biology. But biology is not destiny, because most of the factors that accelerate this process are modifiable. Let's go through them one by one. Reason number 1, and the biggest, driver hormones. For women, the approach of perimenopause and menopause brings a significant drop in estrogen and progesterone. These hormones normally help keep hair in the growth phase for longer. When they decline, hair cycles shorten and shedding increases. At the same time, androgens, including a hormone called DHT, or dihydrotestosterone, become relatively more dominant. DHT binds to receptors in hair follicles and gradually miniaturizes them, producing thinner, shorter, weaker strands over time. This is the same mechanism behind male pattern baldness, but it affects women too, just typically in a more diffuse pattern across the scalp. For men, testosterone naturally converts to DHT throughout life, but after 40, the sensitivity of follicles to DHT often increases, accelerating the process. The good news: this is one of the most researched causes of hair loss, and there are both medical and nutritional approaches that directly target DHT. We'll come back to that. Reason 2, your nutrient levels. And this is where most people are losing the battle without knowing it. Hair follicles are among the most metabolically active cells in your body. They need a constant, reliable supply of nutrients to function. After 40, absorption of certain key nutrients becomes less efficient, and dietary gaps that were manageable in your 30s start to show up in your hair. The most common deficiencies linked to hair thinning after 40 are iron, especially in women who are still menstruating. Low ferritin, which is your stored iron, is one of the most underdiagnosed causes of hair loss in women. Zinc, essential for hair tissue repair and growth. Deficiency leads to shedding and slower regrowth. Vitamin D, shown in multiple studies to play a direct role in activating hair follicles. Most people over 40, especially in northern climates, are deficient without knowing it. Biotin and B vitamins, involved in keratin production, the protein your hair is literally made of. And protein overall. Hair is 95% keratin, which is a protein. If your overall protein intake is too low, your body deprioritizes hair growth to protect more critical functions. Get blood work done! This one step can completely change your approach. Reason 3, chronic stress. This one is underestimated, partly because the effect is delayed. When you go through a period of significant stress, the hair loss often shows up 2 to 4 months later. By that point, most people don't connect the dots. Here's what's happening. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, your primary stress hormone. High cortisol disrupts the hair growth cycle, pushing large numbers of follicles prematurely into the telogen, resting phase. This is called telogen effluvium, and it can cause a sudden, diffuse shedding across the entire scalp. After 40, this becomes more common because the compounding stressors of midlife, career pressure, aging parents, relationship changes, health concerns, don't go away between cycles. The body stays in a low-grade stress state that continuously disrupts follicle function. Cortisol management isn't just about feeling better. For your hair, it's genuinely medical. Reason 4, your scalp. And almost nobody talks about this. Hair follicles need blood flow. They need oxygen and nutrients delivered through the tiny capillaries in your scalp. After 40, circulation naturally decreases. And if your scalp health has been neglected, the follicle environment deteriorates. Scalp inflammation, caused by seborrheic dermatitis, product buildup, or even a diet high in processed foods, can directly suppress follicle function. An inflamed scalp is a hostile environment for growing hair. What helps regular scalp massage? Shown in studies to increase follicle thickness through mechanical stimulation and improved blood flow. Even 5 minutes a day makes a measurable difference over time. And addressing inflammation through diet and proper scalp hygiene creates the conditions. Hair needs to thrive. Reason 5, your thyroid. And this is the one that gets missed most often. Both an underactive thyroid hypothyroidism and an overactive thyroid hyperthyroidism cause hair loss. And thyroid dysfunction becomes significantly more common after 40, particularly in women, where it affects roughly 1 in 8 over a lifetime. Symptoms of hypothyroidism, fatigue, weight gain, cold intolerance, brain fog, are often dismissed as just getting older. Meanwhile, the hair loss continues unchecked. If you've tried everything and your hair is still thinning, ask your doctor for a full thyroid panel. Not just TSH, but free T3 and free T4. Many people are told their thyroid is normal based on TSH alone, when the full picture tells a different story. Treating thyroid imbalance often results in significant hair regrowth. But you can't treat what you haven't diagnosed. Reason 6, medications and underlying health conditions. This is one of the most overlooked causes, because people don't realize how many common medications list hair loss as a side effect. These include certain blood pressure medications, antidepressants, cholesterol-lowering drugs, hormonal treatments, and more. After 40, the number of medications people take tends to increase, and so does the cumulative effect on hair. Autoimmune conditions like alopecia, areata, lupus, and PCOS can also cause or accelerate hair thinning, and are more likely to be diagnosed or worsen in this decade. The point here isn't to stop your medications. It's to have an honest conversation with your doctor and ask, could any of this be contributing to my hair loss? You deserve that conversation. Reason 7, sleep. Specifically, the quality of it. After 40, deep sleep decreases. And during deep sleep is when your body does its most critical cellular repair work, including restoring hair follicle function, growth hormone, which stimulates cell reproduction and regeneration, including in hair follicles, is primarily released during slow-wave deep sleep. Consistently, poor sleep reduces growth hormone output, slows cellular repair, and contributes to elevated cortisol the next day. A double hit on your hair. This creates a frustrating cycle. Stress disrupts sleep. Poor sleep raises cortisol. High cortisol worsens hair loss and further disrupts sleep. Prioritizing sleep hygiene after 40 isn't a luxury. For your hair, your skin, your metabolism, and your brain, it's maintenance. What you can actually do. So here's your practical action plan. Start with blood work. Check your ferritin, vitamin D, zinc, thyroid panel, and, if relevant, hormone levels. You cannot solve what you haven't measured. Increase protein intake. Aim for at least 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. More if you're active. Add scalp massage to your routine. 5 to 10 minutes daily. You can do it while watching TV. Address stress with real strategies. Not just try to relax. Sleep, movement, and even short mindfulness practices. Reduce cortisol measurably. Look at your medications and have an honest conversation with your doctor. And be patient. Hair growth is slow. If you address the root causes, you'll typically start seeing improvement in 3 to 6 months. But only if you stay consistent. Hair thinning after 40 is common, but it is not inevitable, and it is not irreversible for most people. The key is understanding what's actually driving it in your specific case, not just buying whatever is trending on social media. I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 causes surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below. And if you found something that actually worked for your hair, after 40, share it. This community learns from each other. If this kind of evidence-based, no-nonsense health content is useful to you, subscribe and hit the bell. I post specifically for people navigating their 40s, 50s, and 60s every week. See you in the next one.